I gotta play our intro.
Grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day. Grab your wine. It's time for Rosé All Day and Julie's a Mess, where we talk about current events and living in an intersex life. And now, here's Julie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rosé All Day, Julie's a Mess. I'm your host, Julie. That's Julie, and I'm coming to you live from Tybee, Georgia this evening. A lot of you know that I live in Savannah, but for the next 2 weeks, I am pet sitting for this lover and his sister in Tybee, Georgia. And I am at the Michael, Todd, Wilson, Alan Bradley house. And they donated my wine this evening. So my wine is compliments of the Wilson Bradleys, and it is Le Rosé from France. They also gave me this is what the bottle looks like, which is super cute, right? I'm gonna show you. It's beach themed, right? Le Rosé. Ouch, this cat's digging into my breast implant. It's probably gonna pop. Le Rosé. And he's such a lover. Oh, Jesus. It's really the house for the next 2 weeks, 2 cats and me. It's the house of Pussy. Back to my wine. They gave me this cute little stopper with this bottle. It's a bird. And here's what I love about it. If you like animals, when you pour your wine out of this wine stopper, the bird whistles.
I love it. That's great.
So let's taste this wine. Actually, for those of you that know me pretty well, I've already had a couple of sips tonight. But for the purpose of the episode and tasting it, it's very soft on the palate. It's got a very crystal kind of clear taste. It mimics most rosés that you would have. It's very light and it's very floral. I like it. I'm going to ask them where they got it from because it's very smooth. It goes down very easy. So I like it. Would definitely pair it with maybe some cheeses and a nice charcuterie board. But I don't have that. I just have cats tonight. So Mama's got to go shopping tomorrow. But anyway, here for the next 2 weeks throughout Christmas. And I'm excited because by happenstance, earlier this week, I reconnected with a good friend from my past. We've already had some laughs this week, and she agreed to be on my podcast this week. So without further ado, my guest this evening, all the way from my circus days.
Way back when.
Maribel Vega. Hi.
Hi, beautiful.
You're beautiful. Why don't you tell everybody at home that's watching and everybody that's listening how we know each other?
We know each other through Big Apple Circus, where we dared to dream and grab our very own little sticks and handkerchiefs and make our way down the road, both running away to the circus and somehow meeting and crossing paths there. We're not generational like the rest of the amazing people we have met and come across, but hey, you end up there for a reason.
Yeah, so as they say in the circus, they often say when you're leaving, they will say, instead of goodbye, they say, see you down the road. Some of the amazing talent that we have the opportunity to work with has already passed in the past couple of years, which is sad. And And
Well, hey, who I can think of two.
I can't
Two,
think of his name right now, but the one that
okay.
that did the plates and the ping pongs, Pablo,
Yes,
him,
Picasso.
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 Yeah, he was
What an
great.
amazing dude with a beautiful family.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful boys. You remember his beautiful wife? Yes, very talented. Pablo Picasso learned from his dad. He was generational, and he went to college and he got a degree, and then he decided to continue the circus tradition like his father taught him way back when. Just like some of the awesome people we met in
Well, look,
circus.
I mean,
Christian,
who went
Sonia,
on to do,
he went on to college.
he went on to college, but he also went on to America's Got Talent with
Right,
his
right,
dog, and people know him from that. And I'm like, I know him
right.
when he was like still in school in
Yeah,
Boston. Like,
no,
he hadn't graduated yet.
just so talented and smart and worldly and just
He just got
expressing.
engaged to this beautiful girl in
Oh,
Paris.
yes, I saw that.
Look, I mean,
Yes,
circus life, we met some amazing people. We worked with some amazing people. That's where we know each other. I was in the circus in 2009, in 2010. So, I mean,
yes.
that's where we met each other. And then you and I had our hand in recreating
Mm-hmm.
My Little Mermaid spoof.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was involved in that. I mean, it literally became a circus family event. Everybody was
So much fun. And that was at that point in time, I don't know where the tour went or has gone since. I know after Paul Binder left, the tour got cut down and then cut down some more. But that was the last time Big Apple Circus was in Rhode Island. And so that tour,
we'd all be on the beach filming that with
yeah,
me.
and that was rough waters, bro. Like rough fucking
yes, literally and
like
figuratively.
Like it was the outtakes though. But then I think the best outtakes were back on the Camp Circus grounds.
We're back on dry land.
Yes, with Smitty.
He died.
Did he? I didn't know.
Yeah, so supposedly, the rumor I'd heard is that, and it's sad, but the rumor is that he died while on tour, and it was at the hand of other stuff, just stuff that I don't feel it's respectful to talk about.
I know he left the tour, so he was. Everyone said their farewells to Smitty. I don't know if he moved on to another show circuit or not, but yeah. And the other, of course, you cannot forget the awesome, amazing Clown Alley star, Rob Torres.
Yes.
Beautiful man. Yes. I'm married to a Torres. Yes. Rob Torres. Amazing clown. Amazing man.
So many great talents in that, in the few years that we were there. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about others. And I learned a lot about just the circus. And somebody had said to me once recently, they said, you have had an awesome, awesome life because you worked for Disney and you ran away with the circus and you did television. And I thought, I really have kind of had a charmed life in certain ways, and so that's exciting that you're here and we're able to talk about that. Well, let's get on. This is the part of the show, now that you've met Maribel, where we go into current events. And I picked 2 current events this week that are interesting, to say the least. The first one is TikTok, the platform we've all grown to love and admire.
Yes.
TikTok has
Spy
taken
on me,
all of
China.
those.
I'm not that interesting.
Well, TikTok is taking. This is what's interesting. TikTok is opening about 7 or 8 test kitchens across the United States, and they're opening up a restaurant. Now, here's the thing: they are using recipes that creators have shared that have been hugely popular on the platform, but these
Right.
creators are not getting recognition for the food.
That's not nice.
So
That's not nice.
TikTok's running with this new restaurant venue, but it's almost like they're stealing all these recipes. And because we're all on the platform, we all signed up for it. You know, it's kind of like when you sign up for a platform and they're like, we can use your likeness. You're signing up for a platform. So technically, they can use my hidden candy video. They can use anything you've done. They can use, you know, somebody puts a recipe on. They can use that recipe, and they don't have to give anybody credit for it.
Right. That was really big in the beginning of COVID when people were doing Grubhub, Uber Eats, and all that stuff, where they were saying that these restaurants were popping up. And really, what it was just like the circus trailer.
Yes.
What was it? The cookhouse.
The cookhouse.
And trailers. So basically, what they had were like these industrial areas with like different cook trailers, companies setting up these different cook trailers and setting up these online restaurants, right? And so people are ordering their food. You're going on Grubhub, you're seeing the menu, you're seeing pictures of the food and everything. And not to say the food is any less than, but I believe that's what they're talking about, the sort of restaurants that they're creating. Although I think that they probably, if it was TikTok themed, wouldn't it, like, do you remember going to the restaurant lounge Vinyl in the city?
Yes.
Right. And
Maribel,
so
real fast. Maribel, real fast.
Yeah.
People that are watching are saying they're having a. Can you do it without the headphones?
Okay. Yeah.
Will we still be able to hear you without the headphones?
All right. Hold on. Let me. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better?
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Yay.
So, you know, if they had like an actual TikTok themed restaurant, maybe like, you know, because we lived in South Korea for a couple, like almost 2 years, and they have so many different themed sort of restaurants. And so if they had a TikTok themed with, I don't know, different creators booths, I don't know, stuff like that, that would be awesome. But
what'll be interesting, one of the pictures I saw in the Reddit thread today was the air fried pasta that we've all seen on TikTok, where they put the pasta in the air fryer and they crisp it up and then you like bite into it. I can't eat pasta with my dentures when it's not crispy. I can't imagine what it tastes like crispy, but I do want to try it. C Baby is joining us. Her name is Sharon. She's one of our regulars on here that likes to come in and watch the podcast, and she likes to interact with us. She has said, I love her hair. And she said, much better, perfect. And she's saying hi to all of us. So hi, Sharon. And she is somebody that's watching this evening. So that was the one thing. The TikTok restaurant, which I just think is interesting. I'm probably going to be playing with my hair all night tonight because I love this hair, but I keep.
It looks super soft.
What?
It looks super soft.
Super soft. I know. So.
And super luxurious.
It is, well, for $20 off of Amazon. Thank you very much. I love it.
Are you not a fan of clip-ins?
I haven't done a lot of clip-ins or extensions because my hair is so thin, I would have to have a shit ton of clip-ins. Just a shit ton.
And 220 grams. 220, I feel like 220 grams. See, I'm very thin as well.
Okay.
See, so I have the shave, but I'm still very thin because I had the gastric bypass, so I thinned out. But you know what I mean? Like the 220 grams worth of clip-ins where I had them. They were the longest I could get, and they, if you wear them and you don't like overkill with dyes and bleach, which I do already, but I think I'm a natural redhead, so my hair is very resilient, but
Right.
I feel like the clip-ins are, when you want to kind of up, and then you can put those clip-ins to go up and make that bun, and you can, I don't know, I feel like that's the way to go, because
I mean, I haven't tried them. I may try them, but I do like my legs. I do like.
I'm not good at laying wigs. That's my thing. That's a problem. I could take care of them all day. Hello.
I know, costuming, but
I took care of some really beautiful wigs, and no conditioner, fabric softener.
right, fabric softener all the way. And people are like, why? And I'm like, because they're synthetic. It's made out of the same thing your sweaters are made out of.
And it can still hold heat, but you don't want it to hold heat. You just want to set those curlers in there while it's still wet.
I got you, girl. I know how to do it.
Of course, that's why it looks.
I know how to do it. I could do it on my own.
Yeah, I can't. I'm covered in baby stuff usually.
It's like Stewie on Mad TV. Look what I can do.
Yes.
Look what I can do.
Yes. If we are ever together on a Halloween, you can be store.
Matt, let me do it. Let me do it.
Yes. Store. I will get a wig. Marcy Darcy wig.
Do it.
Yes. Store. And you're going,
no, I can do it.
No, doesn't know. Good.
Do it.
Down over there, exactly.
Okay. So
I was drinking.
Huh? Oh, I did not. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking fucking box wine, but
I'm drinking fucking box wine.
Well, yeah, but we're on. So wait, damn it. See, I gotta get this light shit right. All right, there we go. And I'm sending you your bottle.
Oh, she's sending me a bottle. I love it.
Of course.
Sharon said you two are hilarious, and we're not even into the show really yet. And she's like,
yes. And I'm in Washington, and you're in Georgia. So let me see. I'm day drinking.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, because I can see the sun coming through your back window. Later this evening, Maribel's husband, John, is going to walk across the screen in his underwear. He's in the service. So this will be our way of supporting the service. And this will be the service's way of giving ladies something to watch.
Yes.
Because he's hot. Hot!
All right. So let's see how this rosé all day tastes. Because I'm more of the witch's brew.
Yeah.
Type,
Yeah.
Everything we got, just throw it in there.
Mm-hmm. You're more of the great grain kind of girl.
Mm-hmm. France. So I would say it's fruity but dry.
Okay.
Not harsh at all. For like I said, I'm gastric bypass, so stuff hits us a little bit.
Fruity but dry. It kind of sounds like the LaSalle twins.
Isn't one a doctor?
Yeah, he was the dry one.
But yes, they were, weren't they? They were twins. I have twins. I have twins. My twins are not twins though. My twins are two very different people. Two very different. I call them two ladies.
Two little babies. Well, you have a boy and a girl.
No, they're two girls. I have Stone and Violet. They are 9 and 10. And I have two twin girls that John and I made in Korea. So my babies, they were born early. So they were 3 pounds each. They were born last August. They're COVID babies. So They have to throw
Wait,
everything.
you have 4 now?
I have 4, bitch.
And they're both twins.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Stone and Violet was one after the other. Yes, the Irish twin.
Irish twins. You've had too much of that box wine tonight, girl.
No.
Yes.
4 not enough. No, it's that I told you I can off the same cup. I get a little. See,
it's okay. We don't judge in here. We don't
life that you do not have to ever worry about because you are a nice, shapely lady.
Yes, but I do like to practice making them.
Ah, you're not alone. So,
John, do you have any single servicemen that like to make babies or practice making?
How come? Yes, he knows too many. This is how come
That like hidden candy?
Not on the opposite coast from one another, and so that I live on post.
You live on base.
Yes.
You just said I live on post.
Army post, Navy base.
I would get on an Army post.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like when I come visit you, we're going. That's it.
Wow.
But what I'm saying is like I want to walk into the Army PX on a random Wednesday lunchtime where there's an ocean of camouflage.
Yes. I almost got a job at the RX here in Savannah. I thought about doing it, and a friend of mine's like, "You don't want to work there," and I was like, "The hell I don't."
Yeah.
I'm like, I would be dating people left and right.
I know. I mean, I call this people, it's a nerve center. See, because I feel like wherever we go, we can have a nice little mix of things, which it appeals to me because I'm from Brooklyn. I like mixture. So when we can go, if we live on post, wherever we've lived in Texas, Georgia, South Korea, we're here in Tacoma now. I like having that, but
yes. And
okay, I lost it. I'm sorry.
Okay. We're going to go and talk about our second current event. Maribel clearly, and I knew this about her, she kind of, she goes with her own flow. Mm-hmm. She dances to the beat of her own drum. So we'll be talking about one thing, and she'll take you totally off the cliff and a whole different road down the hill, right?
Tangent-ville.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew that would coming into the night. So our second current event is there was an incident that happened in a Target in Quincy, Massachusetts. Now, we were talking about Massachusetts. We were in Boston all the time. We have a lot of Boston stories. Hey, cutie. Y'all, John, let me just hashtag real fast. John and Maribel met in Stone Mountain, Georgia when I guess John and his brother joined the circus, or maybe it wasn't in Georgia, but that's when I remember y'all kind of starting to dance around each other and flirt. Anyway, y'all, they've been together ever since, and he's just a cutie patootie, and he's in the service, and he's always been such a sweetheart and so nice. And no, he hasn't been such a sweetheart and so nice. We're not going to talk about that tonight. That's a whole nother episode altogether.
Circus days.
Ah, circus days. Picture. I remember
that's about
3 chins ago.
You remember everybody wanted to be with John Torres. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's cute." I mean, I struggled between him and his brother, but I mean,
I didn't. That's my brother-in-law now, though, so I can say that without hesitation. But no.
Okay.
between John and Anthony. Anthony was
Anthony's good looking, but John got like all the manners and all the charm and the brains and Anthony's just Anthony. Anyway,
special case.
So Target in Quincy, Massachusetts, at the Target, a gentleman was going around telling women that they had oil leaks and getting them to get out of their cars, and then he was trying to abduct them and kidnap them. So this happened just this past week in Quincy, Massachusetts. They have picked up a suspect. They are starting to question him and talk to him now. How important for you, because you have daughters, both of you, because you're both on right now, how important is safety and your concern for their safety in the world we currently live in?
Oh my God. Like I said, we live on a nerve center because we're on post. So all these people come, they go. Every tour is 3 years. So people will come in perfectly normal family, go for a year, come back, different people. So we're very aware of our children, where they are, what they do, who they're around,
Boundaries.
sensitive. The beginning of COVID was when we actually left Korea. When things started to close down, we like literally just made it back into the States when things were starting to close down. Right. Yeah. We were like days, right there. We would have got stuck. We'd still be overseas right now.
It was like 2 weeks after we got here, because that's when we they said work from home.
Yeah. So we were able to get back stateside and visit some family, and then head back up here, where we're here for 3 years. We've been here for like 19 months, something roughly, like that.
Yeah.
We still
in March it'll be 2 years.
Yeah. So we still have another year and a little bit left, but wherever we go, whatever we do, we're, very hyper aware. Okay, who's what, where, it doesn't matter if it's 2, 4, 6. Like people say, big families with a lot of kids, it's so hard. It's so that 1 or 4. I know like that sounds crazy, but if you're making breakfast for 1, it's not that different making breakfast for 4.
It's just bigger.
It's just more. If you're, you know what I'm saying? So it's even if you statistically, like how much does it cost to raise a child? How much does it cost to raise 2? How much does it cost to raise 4? As you go along, it actually isn't as much for just 1 as it is for 4. Like it's, so, but
the safety
but all those things, everything comes together. Like there's so many things to think about when you're a parent. But at the end of the day, like keeping them still out there and able to make those friends and those connections and those, my daughter thrives. Like I showed you, she's in cheerleading. They just started, and our son started basketball, and she realized that she's cheering for him. Like, she wanted to do cheerleading. She's not, thrilled about that. But I don't know. They might.
I don't think she really bothers her. Not yet. As long as she gets to just run around and jump, she's fine.
She said she was fine with him taking cheerleading and her doing basketball. And he said he was fine with that. So,
when we were in the gym the other day.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, no.
My brother was in cheerleading in high school. He was a Long Beach high school cheerleader.
There's nothing wrong with that. Long Beach, California?
No, New York.
Yeah.
Oh.
New York. Long Island.
I know, but I was like, what?
Yeah, no. But lots of kids too.
Wow.
And little ones too, again.
That's good. We definitely want everybody that watches justjuleigh.com to remember to be safe, especially during this time, but also going forward into the new year. Things are crazy and chaotic out there. And this was a story that just really kind of piqued our interest here. And our staff was very like, oh, that's scary.
I asked him because I was trying to find that story and I couldn't. And then I found a story about a few different girls on TikTok talking about being approached in a bathroom and perhaps by like a mother and a daughter who might like human trafficking type stuff. Was that wasn't it, right?
Well, no, but I think it was leading to that there's supposedly human trafficking. There was a huge thing on 2020 a couple of months ago about how, I mean, millions of people are trafficked. Is that
Traffic. Yes. Traffic.
through America. And the number was just like, what? Like, it was staggering. And
the one I was reading was about false Target human trafficking stories told on TikTok, which it was a Rolling Stones article about human trafficking at Target, and a couple of girls had put up some videos talking about how they were approached by women and like a woman with her daughter and stuff. And then I think another one was approached, and she said she was approached in the parking lot or something, and how the stories turned out not to be true, and how they sort of were, while you would think they're being helpful, they're sort of not, because that's not the way real true trafficking happens. So if you're putting out this information, it's misinformation,
it's
because
satirizing.
it's someone, it's someone, you're directing people to look for the wrong sort of trigger worms and that sort of thing. So that was the story that
that's the one we found.
That's the one we found. And well, like, hey, you don't want to be talking about someone came up. No. Trafficking happens when you have your kid on Roblox or in Minecraft and they have that little box on the corner where they can talk to people. It's happened to us with our children. And like my daughter, Facebook put up a messenger for kids and stuff like that. Like, my kid, it took her about 2.5 weeks to find the predator. I had somebody already ask, and she was 9. I put her on there, so she COVID. We're like, yeah, talk to grandma, talk to this one. Cousin, I don't want to, like we're keeping our kids in. You know what I'm saying? You want them to be able to have outlets and stuff,
right?
And within 2 weeks, she was on a Melanie Martinez group and
getting the messages
to
your parents watch.
Do your parents monitor your YouTube?
They groom them. They're out there grooming them, and they're trying to. Yeah, it's
done.
Sick.
Yeah. I mean, it's quick. It's so quick.
Yeah.
But it happens in so many different ways, and a lot of times the biggest thing is that the biggest targets are LGBT. And our daughter she identifies as lesbian. So, just even, I don't know, talking to kids around the neighborhood, she's had kids that have been like, oh, you're what? Like, they play with her. And then she's like, yeah, she's 10. She's like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. I'm this, I'm that, like this. Oh, you're a sinner.
Yeah.
Like and she's sitting there like, I just did about 2.5 years of Catholic homeschool. What are you talking about?
Right.
So like Jesus doesn't, and I don't know. I'm just saying, yeah. So
I mean, that's a whole nother show for a whole nother day. But thank you for sharing that. And it's scary, and we just have to, as parents and as support teams for families and children and children in our communities, we have to be a little more proactive.
Even as adults, we are out there. We are all out there. We are all doing this right now. And this can be one way and look one way and be a completely different way.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to alienate ourselves and make ourselves have mental health issues because we're not connecting the way we should be, and we don't want our children to do that either. But this is new. Yeah. It's like we're all in the dark here, just trying to make it work, but not. I can't sit there and pretend to a child that an adult is safe when you know.
I mean, the biggest thing with that Maribel does do is just keeping them informed, you know?
Yeah.
Just like it.
It's, you know.
Yeah,
you,
I mean, you gotta let them know what's out there.
Kids, but you have
to. You have to set them up for success. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to move on from this into, and we'll come back to this maybe later, but we're going to move into our next segment because we're a little behind on the time because it's already 7:35. You wouldn't even know that we've almost spent 30 minutes together. We are moving on to a segment called Julie's a Mess. People have grown to love this segment. It is where I tell a story from my illustrious past, and then my guest gets to finish it because I stop midway. Based on how they know me and how well they know me, they get to see if they can finish how the story actually ends. You don't win a prize for finishing it correctly. I've actually only had one person, Charlie, who's a really dear friend of mine, come close both times that he was on the show. Actually, he nailed it both times he was on the show. Everybody else has been kind of, whatever. Last week, we talked about how I helped my first crush burn down a treehouse in Houston, Texas. Because I was really into him and I was like, "Ooh, if I help him, he'll reciprocate." Nah, it didn't happen that way. But this week, because I met Maribel in the circus, we are going to tell a circus story. Now, she knows I started as a butcher in the circus. And what a butcher is you go around selling the popcorn and the cotton candy and light up swords after the show and all that good stuff.
I thought that's what a butcher?
Yeah, they called him a butcher.
I thought
I worked for Ned. Do you remember Ned?
I thought that was just like a name Amanda gave her minions.
No. That's
like a butcher.
Butcher is what I did when I worked for Butcher is what I did when I worked for like the actual circus. Okay. Then I moved into selling hot dogs and cotton candy with Donnie, right? He was one wagon, I was the other wagon. Then I moved.
You mean Millionaire Donnie?
Yeah, Millionaire Scratcho Lotto Donnie. Every time I buy a scratcher ticket, I'm like, man, I have Donnie's luck. And then I moved into purchasing. Now, I love purchasing. I literally got to wear so many hats in purchasing. In my time in purchasing, I got to be in artist relations and take some of the artists to their doctor's appointments. I got to see parts of Russian dancers that I wanted to see and parts I didn't want to see. I got to.
Poor boy, and he was like,
"Oh yeah," but like,
he didn't cry, nothing. He had bones sticking out his.
I know. I got to take him to the doctor and like they would like pull his pants down and put patches on him. And I was like,
He was working on it in like 3 days. Like our toddlers. Like
I know. Don't derail this story, Maribel. So anyway, I was in purchasing and I got to do all these things. And one of the things we'd often do is whenever we'd pull into a new town or a new city, the senior purchasing agent, not our boss, but whoever was in the middle, which was me at the time, because we often would have a lot of newbies, would have to go on runs to Home Depot and Lowe's and get anything that the circus needed, right? So nuts and bolts for the tent, screws and nuts and bolts for the lighting department, sawdust to put down on the floor. I mean, literally anything you can think of a circus would need, we'd have to go on these runs. And sometimes
stuff for electrics,
stuff for wardrobe that we'd order in, stuff that we'd have to go pick up places. But sometimes we would have to go multiple times a day in one location. And sometimes we would have to go to farms and places that required a GPS. Now, purchasing had a GPS. We had one. But rarely did they update it.
Mm-hmm.
Version 1.
So you'd be out in your dually truck. And for you listening at home, if you don't know what a dually truck is, it's the truck that has 2 wheels on the back of the bed. So when you're going down through a New York City with people parking on either side, you have to be super cognizant of your dually that you don't bounce it off of somebody's truck or knock off. I mean, it's worse than driving. I've driven in Ireland, and I feel like driving for the circus was worse.
Did you do load in and load out?
In the circus, did I do load in and load out? In purchasing, we just had to wait for people to get hurt, and then we'd take them to the hospital. But I did a load in, load out when I was working as a butcher, because Lexi Jose and I gravitated to her, and I was like, I need you to protect me, because I was a poor little, I couldn't lift shit as a boy.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Load in and load out was hard. And I realized after the first time I did it, I didn't want to do it again. So if I got into purchasing, I wouldn't have to. Anyway, so here's the story. People think I'm dumb. I was not dumb. I knew how to get my own sleeper trailer. I mean, Hussein fucked it up for me, but I knew how to get my own. Anyway, one day I had the GPS, and I had asked my boss if we could update it. And she kept saying no, there was no way to update it. So one day I had the GPS, and I was trying just to get to a local vendor to pick up whatever. Now, you know, from working in the circus, I know from working at Big Apple Circus, they had problems from time to time paying their debt. And so sometimes you would often have to find new vendors to get things, or vendors that you hadn't fucked over in previous years to get stuff. And that's not a Big Apple Circus thing as much as it is just a circus thing. And it happens, right?
Yeah.
You know, it happens. Everybody does it. We all have to borrow from Paul to be Mary sometimes.
That Manhattan zip code all those years. It was sweet, but it wasn't cheap.
No.
Office.
So I'm driving in the dually, and this stupid GPS keeps sending me in circles. Wrong directions, towns I didn't want to be in.
Where were you? What state? What stop?
New York. We were in New York still.
What fucking stop though?
It was like the what's the park that was over by the baseball fields?
Covington Park. Covington.
I think it was.
Yeah, in Queens. Covington.
Okay. So bouncing around, getting sent all over the place, not any of the right addresses, streets were wrong, dead ends, right? I'd had it. And then my boss kept saying, where are you? Aren't you back yet? I need you to go here. I need you to go there. Dory can't do it. I need you to go here. I need you to go there.
It sounds like you were a mom.
How do you think this story ends?
It ends. Okay, go ahead. How do you think it ends? I know how I think it ends. How do you think it ends?
I think it ends with her saying, well, I'd be there fucking sooner if you updated it.
I feel like.
I mean, knowing who my boss was, do you think that's the response I could have given her?
No.
I feel like it ends with you changing a flat on the BQE somehow. And then, I don't know.
You think Bradford could have changed a flat?
Absolutely.
Or got someone to.
You got, Manchev drove out there. Oh.
I'm talking about someone driving by.
No.
I do have skills. I do have skills.
On the side of the, just on the T-bar. Hung like that to, loosen the nuts.
The nuts. Yeah.
So this is how the story ends. Okay. I went and did the runs that I needed to do.
I don't know. I would have claimed a flat tire if that was my boss, but I was the boss of my.
I did what I needed to do, and I got what I needed to get done. On the way back, I got so frustrated. On the way back, I got so frustrated with that fucking GPS, I tossed it out the window. And when I got back to work, I said, somebody broke into the car and stole the GPS.
We need a new one.
Can we get a new one?
And then she went out and purchased a new one for purchasing.
I sure did. I ordered one that automatically would update. I walked back and she was like, "Where's the GPS?" I was like, "I think somebody stole it. How stupid." Meanwhile, I totally was like, "Kick rocks," and tossed it out on the freeway on the way home. That's the truth.
That's fun.
Because why? Julie's a mess. So now we are rolling from Julie's a mess into 5 questions. And this is the part of this show where we get to ask our guests 5 questions. They can be questions about us. They can be questions about our time together. They can be questions about her. So 5 questions, and here we go. And oftentimes the questions will lead to other things. Knowing Maribel, she likes to talk as much as I do. So this could turn into a whole hour segment. We're going to try and keep it short. We're going to try and keep it short. We are starting with a classic question here on Julie's a Mess and Rose All Day. Maribel, what is your favorite swear word? And have you found that over time it has manipulated or grown into something else? Example, I used to love fuck a duck. It's morphed into fuck my life, fuck a monkey,
So Julie's favorite word is fuck. In case you didn't know, honey. My favorite word is
Which one? Which one?
I told you we should be like stripper twins, just obviously.
I have a feeling it's gonna be fuck.
I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is carajo, and that's like fuck in Spanish. So
You used to go coñazo.
Coñazo.
I used to say that a lot.
Caray. It's all fuck. Fuck.
Just various versions of fuck.
I don't know.
It's a word, it's a noun, it's an adjective.
Yes, it's a person, place, or thing.
That's right.
It is an entity. Fuck has a soul.
It has a soul. Fuck has a soul. Absolutely. It looks like we have some comments. So let's see what those are right fast before we get. Oh, Sharon's just laughing that fuck has a soul.
Have you heard this? Because my dear sweet is the one who.
Look how good my cleavage looks right now.
It looks beautiful. See, your fucking cleavage has not looked that beautiful since I shaded it for you.
And I don't need shading now.
Nope. I do though. 4 kids later, and I breastfed all of them.
I don't think you can show that on YouTube. This isn't OnlyFans, Maribel. Question number 2. Question number 2. Question number 2. What is your favorite memory of us from the circus?
Getting ready for see, I had a little moment where I was like, whoop, 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 before. It's fibromyalgia, bitch. We all got problems, right?
We all got problems.
I will go in tangents, and then also I forget. In the middle of a sentence, I will forget. But see, I already forgot. What was the question?
Your favorite memory.
Favorite memory,
yes,
was perfection is perfection.
Perfection is what? What?
Defection, you said.
I said perfection is defection? When did I say that?
What is that shit called when we would go at the end of the clown?
Oh, Midnight Clowns?
Yes. And you played the role of the one beautiful.
The beautiful Asian girl that on
aerialist.
The shoulder.
Yes, the aerialist that made it, because it was supposed to be 2.
Right.
And it was only 1 because the other one's passport didn't work out, whatever.
Oh, right. She defected.
So you said you played her at midnight.
So I played her, and at the end I said,
yes, that moment for me.
I said something like defection is perfection or something.
Yes, exactly. Yes, we did not know until afterwards when the tour. Well, Midnight Clowns was the end of the tour, and then afterwards they went home or were going to go home. And
I took her to the airport. I had to take her to the airport, and she literally jumped. She got out of the van. She got out of the van, and everybody was walking to the airport, and she literally veered to the left. A car pulled up. She got in the car drove off, and the rest of her troop was like,
right. And nobody shit a brick like Dodo. Dodo shit the only brick, but Dodo also got herself that job as the interpreter for the Chinese act, and she also taught herself English in China. Right. And so Dodo now lives and has her own business in Portland, Oregon, with a family and 2 beautiful little boys. So yes, no, that moment when you were like, because afterwards,
I like defection, perfection, and everybody was like, "What?"
Footage of it, and I would like to think there's maybe on YouTube. I didn't look it up. See, you didn't give me time. You were like, let's talk, whatever. I would have had everything pulled up. I will have the wardrobe Bradford on the table in the wig with the
Remember, I ate the candy off of the.
Yes,
Brad,
you can put them in at the end if you like. I have them all.
Bradford is, and I say this all the time. He's very much a part of me, you know, and he's very much a part of my past. And I'm still Bradford. I'm Juleigh because I'm in this vessel, but I'm split. I'm both. I'm all. And
you're not two. You're not two. You're all. You're
right. I'm all being, but I'm just saying for people that are like Bradford was funny. I'm like Juleigh's just fucking funny.
Even for me though, because when I would say to John, I would be like, "Oh, Bradford put up," you know, but you know, Bradford is Amanda, you know, but he would know Amanda's Bradford, Bradford's Amanda, Amanda's Sumner's, and then Bradford, and then there was Juleigh, and then Juleigh was new, and then there was Juleigh, and then Bradford, and Juleigh was Bradford, and Bradford was Juleigh, and then you know, like, and then I understood a whole new different part of you being completely different to what I understood you to be, and that was all new. And I said to you, it's been years since we talked. It's been years since and I've sort of followed things. I've been all over the place too.
You've had a life. You've been living your life.
I also still followed you. You're awesome, and you know you're a great person. I met a lot of awesome people working there. So did he, and you were definitely one of them for me. And so you know, and I like you're awesome because I can show my kids, like my son. I was watching your videos, and he was like, no, she looks a little. He didn't say bitchy though.
He said aggressive.
Aggressive. He was like, I don't know, Mom. She's a little aggressive. And I was like, what do you mean she's aggressive? He's like, I don't know, Mom. She's a little aggressive. I'm just saying. That's his way of saying bitchy, you know. But then he would spread me that way. So.
Yeah, but I am aggressive. That's a compliment.
And then he's like, oh, you know her? Okay. Yeah, okay. And then he walked out the room. He was like, yeah, okay, I get it now.
He was like, I get it now. She is aggressive. Question number 3. What's your favorite body part on John? Not to put him on the spot or anything, because he's sitting right next to you, but what's your favorite, like, and I'm not trying to be like aggressive or dirty. I'm just saying, like, you could be like his nose. I don't know.
Why can't you be like a dude right now and be like, what's your least favorite body part?
Why can't you be
No. The favorite body part? Probably his eyes, just because those are my kids' eyes. A couple of them at least. So, gotta love them.
He has sweet eyes.
The eyes. Okay, let's.
John smiles with his eyes. Did you notice that? John does that smile with his eyes, where you can tell, like,
there's There's John. He's got the eyes. But put on the right hat. He has to put on
hat?
your hat.
This hat?
Yes, the actual hat.
This one?
Yes, he wears always. That's the hat.
Boy.
That's it.
That's the hat.
So
That's what she likes.
the
In the GIs.
eyes, I guess, if you. But next question.
Next question. Question number 4. Question number 4. Out of all the hair colors you've had over the years, what is one that you absolutely find that you go back to a lot?
This, red, orange, anything in that realm, just because I'm actually a redhead, and it just flows with the freckles that cover myself, and so it works. Anything else, I'll go crazy. I've done red and blue and all kinds of stuff, but whatever.
But this is the one you kind of gravitate back towards the most.
I carve on hand, honestly. I will bleach. I had like a little bit of bleach. I do it me. I do it myself. So whatever I have on hand, if it works out that way. I've had half and half. That's been my thing for quite some time now, and it makes me feel good because it so represents. Let me tell you, get you some half and half wig going on. It just does something.
This is half and half. This is ombre. It's half and half black.
Look, we're not talking about half and half that way. We're talking about half and half split. See, the same thing. If you're not split down the middle, we split Joker.
I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do that Cruella de Vil crap.
Hello, if anybody understands the split.
I get it, but I'm just saying.
You gotta find two split. You have your split. So I feel like everybody will find their split, and they feel like, oh yes, about this side, and then they feel about, oh yes, about this side. I think that anything that represents more than one facade, more than one face, more than one part of you is.
I'd like to, as I get older, do like a silver on one side and a lavender on the other side. I think that
would work.
Like lavender. Question number 5. We're going to get deep, and then you're going to get deep because we are coming up on the end of our hour of our show. But question number 5. If you were to pass away tomorrow, if you were to leave this earth tomorrow, what's something that you would want to absolutely be remembered for?
Why you gotta ask like that?
But I told you, it's deep. We get deep sometimes.
Shit.
You get the highs and the lows with just Juleigh Rose.
So John's gonna go first, right?
That was your question.
And then I'll tell you, and then you have to say yours.
Well, I mean.
So, what do you want to
What do I want to be remembered for? What I want to be remembered for. That's a tough one. I mean, I guess.
His hot body.
Yeah. For trying to, well, no, not trying to. Just want to be remembered for basically just loving my family, just being there for my family, in all honesty, because they're going to be there a lot longer than I am, and they're. What?
You want to be remembered for being a family man and for the support and the.
Well, if I could remember anything, I wish I could remember their support because they're the ones that really supported me through everything.
Maribel, you're up.
Okay.
Way to deflect. Defection is perfection.
Exactly. And it needs to be on a shirt. And I have a cricket. I just haven't.
Cricket's a symbol of good luck. And fortune.
I mean a Cricut cutter.
Oh.
Ironing.
I don't have a Cricut.
I will make you a t-shirt. Yes.
Defection is perfection.
No, I haven't opened it yet. I have a Cricut. I call it Cry Cut because I like the word Cry Cut better. Cricut, it doesn't work for me.
Well, I have merchandise on justjuleigh.com, so maybe we can put that shirt up there.
I think you should.
Right next to I Love Hidden Candy.
Right. And I think like I want to see, I can see you with the headpiece I made you, all in blue horsehair. It was big.
It was big. With candy on it.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Okay. What do you want to be remembered for? Quit deflecting.
Smiling. Laughter.
Okay.
And you?
I want to be remembered for the advocacy work that I've done for my community and trying to make it a better place for the future. I want to make sure that I'm remembered for that because that's important.
I would love to do anything I can to help you with that.
So
that's your journey is my journey, is everyone who follows you journey. And there's so many things that you have to offer. And there's like, you're awesome because there's so many different ways. Like, you grew up a certain type of way of thinking and being, and then later on you came to find out all these other different things about yourself, and there were so many things that you thought you were like.
I thought her jacket was moving.
I know.
It's very Tiger King right now.
Yeah.
It's very Tiger King.
On the other side, yes, but no, that's just a fur baby. Yes.
This is who I'm pet sitting. This is one of the cats I'm pet sitting this week.
That's a lovey-dovey right
there. This is John. If you haven't heard, there are three of us there are three pussies in the house this week. This is the house of pussy.
Did it.
Okay. So we're at the part of the show. We're coming up on the hour. We've already eclipsed the hour, but we're at the part of the show where, oh yeah, you getting comfortable here? Hopefully I'll have a guy over later and he'll be doing the same thing. That's my breath.
I think I want some of that.
So this is the part of the show where my guest gets to ask a question about what it's like for me to have lived in this intersex life. She can ask whatever she wants. She can, the floor is open to her. And in answering the question, I get to educate a friend that is my ear, and I get to educate the rest of the world that is watching or listening this evening. Calm yourself.
But I might be into that too. I don't know. What would you like to ask Miss Julie?
It's your show, Maribel.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, John can ask me whatever, but I prefer it to be over wine and candlelight.
What? I have too many questions.
Okay, just pick your favorite.
Okay.
Because we can always have you back on the show another time, and you can ask more questions.
Okay, but I'm still gonna talk to you when we're not on the camera.
Ow, that's my breast.
Okay. So what would you say to the youth? The youth. That's, I think, high school, that age, junior high, even now, just because. And so we had a lot of different things happening when we were younger. I'm 38.
I'm 32. I'm not. I'm 46.
John's 36.
I'm 46.
And so, I mean, things were different when we were kids. A lot different, and everything. And I saw a lot of different things, and I lived a lot of different places. I think at 17, living in Arizona by myself with a man and learning about truck stops and traveling the country and all these different things, seeing all these different kinds of kids, but also the kids I went to school with in high school, all the kids that were LGBT. Where do you fall into that? Where did you fall into that then? Like, I have a lot of, that's why I'm saying, like, I have a lot of questions. Where did you fall into that then? Where do you fall into it now? And what would you say mostly for right now? What would you say to the kids, the youth, the younger group, even 20s, that perhaps fall into your more current self, that don't really have those very ready available outlets?
I think the difference is when we were growing up, when I was younger, there wasn't so much of a give and take for the youth of the LGBTQ community. There wasn't a lot of knowledge about where to go and who to be and how to be. And, you know, for me, when I thought that I was gay, I was blessed because I got a job at Walt Disney World in characters, parades, and shows, and talk about just being in a full department full of rich, diverse individuals that knew who they were. And in an essence, a lot of the older counterparts that I had in that department at Disney at the time were often like older uncles and aunts that really kind of led us.
Like gym school, lesbian teacher aunts.
No, I just meant that at that time, you know, the character department 384 at Disney at the time, you had a lot of straight people, but you had a lot of gay people, and you had gay and straight people interacting together and loving each other and being there for each other through thick or through thin. And so that was really kind of my introduction to the community in high school, when I was already struggling so much with identity issues, but also just finding out that I was XXY at 17. So, and not really knowing what that truly meant, because the medical profession was saying, you're still a man, you're not gay, the extra X is dormant, it doesn't mean anything, you just need to go on a shit ton of testosterone, and that'll masculinize you out, right? But we know now that that's not the case, that actually could have caused me more damage, and did cause me damage. You know, I had a prostate cancer scare by 22. And I still thought, even at the time I was at the circus, I was gay. But there was nobody in my life that was saying, this is what gay is, and this is what it means to be gay, and this is what that feeling is. Like, I just thought, I have some femininity in me. I like to do drag. I like men. Right. I must be gay, you know? And then at 43, when I found out the reason I felt feminine is because I have an extra X chromosome that absolutely is not dormant. And I also have a partial uterus and a partial pancreas and no Adam's apple or diminished Adam's apple, and a female-sized heart and male-sized lungs and one ovary and one testicle and a female cervic floor and the lower body of a female and the upper skeletal body of a male. Only then were things starting to click, and I realized, oh my God, I'm not gay. I'm literally both, and I've always been attracted to men. And so I would just say to the kids that are feeling the way I feel today, or feel split, or maybe they're intersex, or maybe they're just gay.
Right.
You have come so far we've come so far as a community in the last even 10 years. The fact that you have a place in most of your high schools to now go to interact with other gay individuals, with other lesbians, with other non-binaries, with other trans, with other intersex, the fact that you have that available in your schools now is so different than how I grew up. That is huge. And if you're still struggling in that moment now, if you're still struggling in that today, know that you're already 110% better than where I was growing up. And you're only going to be 110% more better in the next couple of years. Things are changing. And I made a TikTok about it this morning. Change is inevitable and change is wonderful, but you have to be ready to change. And so many people in our world are not ready for change and hold on to what they know and what they've been taught, even if it is not the right element of the thought process. They hold on to it for dear life because they're afraid of what change actually means and what that can mean for us as a community and a populace. And so embrace that change and be that voice and talk about your stories. And I say it 100 times over and over again. If we do not tell our collective stories, if we don't talk about our cancers, if we don't talk about being intersex, if we don't talk about being raped, if we don't talk about being Black, if we don't talk about the racial issues in the country, if we don't tell our stories collectively, change is never going to come about. People are going to continue to say, well, nothing's wrong, and let's just keep doing it the way we've been doing it. And the problem is...
That's like when tradition kills, right? Like tradition saves, but there's a point where tradition kills.
Right. And it's, just the fact that I think people are starting to become woke. If we use the young people's terms, people are starting to become woke. But if you think about it, just because we've been doing it one way for the past 3 or 4 decades does not mean that the person that initiated that one way of thought did not have a hidden agenda and was not trying to push a certain directive. And that doesn't mean that directive is honestly the correct directive.
Absolutely.
So I would tell the young people today, just hold on to hope, because there's hope in every situation. Right. And even in your darkest moments, know that the proverbial quote is, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you have to keep your tunnel vision and keep going towards that light. But that quote came out of somewhere, right? And it came out of somebody looking for that light. And that is a true quote in the nature that there is hope. There's hope in everything. There's hope for a better tomorrow. There's hope for better medical care for all of us. There's hope for us to be included in all things and everybody to be included. There is hope that at some point somebody will say enough is enough, and we all are human first, and we should all collectively be taking care of each other's needs collectively. And just know that you've already, as a young populace, you've already hit that. You've already become that. The LGBTQ plus community is already miles farther away from where I was, or you were, or John was at that age. So the acceptance is coming. It's coming, but change doesn't happen overnight. And in some cases, especially in the intersex community, it absolutely is trying to right wrongs and recreate the wheel. But the wheel needs to be recreated.
But okay, so for you, you use the proper term, which is intersex. And that just sounds right. Even catches it catches my ear. And I want to know, what does that mean? what does that mean? What is that? But what does the word hermaphrodite mean to you as an intersex person? Do you identify? Is it derogatory?
It is derogatory. It is a derogatory term that is not used anymore. And in all essence, hermaphrodism only happens in the animal kingdom.
Okay.
Even though humans are animals, it does not happen in humans. We can have ambiguous genitalia, but true hermaphrodism doesn't really happen even in intersex individuals. You can be pseudo hermaphroditic, but in all essence, having a vagina and a penis, that doesn't happen. It's usually shades of both. It's usually and not And not every intersex person on the spectrum is going to be shades of both. I don't have ambiguous genitalia. I make light and make fun. I have breast tissue. I was born with breast tissue, as a lot of XXY males are. It's called gynecomastia. But I had breast tissue. And then I have a really small penis. It's not a micro penis. I like to call it my game show buzzer. It's flat as fuck. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't get hard. I've never ejaculated out of it. It is literally, men slap at it and like to say, oh, does it have a feeling? Oh, do you like when I do this to it? And I always laugh because I'm like, you expect me to be like, I'll take world geography for 500, Pat. But I call it my game show buzzer. I mean, that's what it is. I call it my clitter dick. Is it a clit? Is it a dick? Nobody really knows. So that's why I own clitterdick.com. Merchandise coming soon. But that's the point. Everybody has ambiguous, people on the spectrum may have ambiguous, they may not. They may have a partial opening for a vagina, but they may not. Like, it shades up. It's a spectrum. There are 42 different variations, which is what we like to use in the intersex community.
There's a number?
Rather than saying a disorder or a syndrome. There are 42 variations between XX and XY that are currently recognized.
Okay, I get
All
it.
of those variations fall under the umbrella term of intersex.
Those are genetics, but
Genetic and chromosomal variations.
but those are just genetics and chromosome. Those aren't physiology. So those aren't
Physiology does not make up intersex.
ovaries and maybe testes.
Right. You might have ovotestes. You might have no testes. You might have no ovaries. You might have one ovary and one testicle. You might have different sexual characteristics within the inside of your body, like I do.
Talking about.
Huh?
So what was Hedwig talking about?
I didn't actually watch that movie.
And you actually probably should. It was like the best ever. It's the best.
I mean, more than likely, Hedwig probably. More than likely, Hedwig probably. I have an internal vagina, but I don't have an opening on the outside. So I have a partial cervix on the inside of my body, but I don't have the opening on the outside. Okay. And people will ask dumb questions and say, "Well, can you just cut into it and then you'll have an opening?" No, it doesn't work that way. Like, let's not be dumb. We've all taken biology. That's not how it works. So when you think XXY happens during the developmental stages of birth, right? Not everything fully develops for some of us. Some things overly develop. For me, I had one ovary and one testicle. They were both underdeveloped. I have a partial uterus. I don't have a full uterus.
Right now.
Yeah, he just no, but so you said like so many people, 1 in every 2,000 people are born intersex.
One in actually they believe 1 in actually 650 now are born intersex.
So, but that's because I don't see this as anything. I see this like.
But intersex could be Turner syndrome. It could be Down syndrome. That's on the spectrum. It could be XXY. That's on the spectrum. 42 different variations of the X chromosome are on the spectrum. 42. So it could be XXX. It could be XXY. It could be XO. It could be X. It could be.
That doesn't always affect actual sexuality.
It doesn't. It affects sexual characteristics and genetics and chromosomes, but not necessarily your gender.
See,
not necessarily. It's a spectrum.
Because I just think it's the future. That's all.
I mean, or it could be the past. We've existed for centuries.
I don't know that though.
I know, but we've existed for centuries.
We're furthering. We're not unlearning. We're learning more. You know what I mean?
Right. But there is an agenda out there to still abort us and still marginalize. It
has a history, and it has always been. I feel this is where we began.
Because 2017, 65% of new parents in America that were told they were going to have an intersex baby of some kind and advised to abort did. 80% in Belgium. So I'd like to say that we're growing and we're learning, but the medical community, especially in places like America, are still forcing that there's just XX and XY, and anything in between you need to get rid of because we're not worth it. And that's still the agenda. But I personally believe the cure to diabetes lies in an intersex person. The fact that I get sick and go into the hospital with blood sugars in the 800, 900s, and I'm not in a coma, and I'm standing in front of you and functioning and saying, ouch, I got a boo-boo. You should be looking at that and wondering why Joe Schmo over here is not intersex and at death's door at 120 blood sugars.
Then he's like, bang.
But yet they don't want to do that. They don't want to research us. The money's not in us. I read a quote today that cancer research in America is at $6 billion. $6 billion is allotted to cancer research every year. I'm not saying cancer research is not important, but you're aborting us and marginalizing us in the intersex community when you should be researching why we function at levels that nobody else can.
Well, I mean, if you think about now, if we really think about the stuff that's happening locally in our country with Texas and abortion laws, how many intersex babies won't get aborted now? So that might be a boost.
Yeah, it might be a boost.
For a month or two. Texas is the largest state in the country. There's a lot
and you have countries like the Netherlands.
Stop.
The Netherlands just came out last week and said, we are so sorry. We didn't realize that it was true that there would be something between XX and XY. And we're so sorry for the damage we've done in the past. And we're going to make sure we don't do it in the future. That's huge. I wish America could get
that. Is huge.
That's huge.
That is huge. Yeah, that is huge.
And, you know, things like me fighting Alabama for just a gender marker change when they're telling me that the only way I will get that is if I prove to them I ran out and got a vagina.
It's a rough state to deal with.
But just archaic and backwards thinking.
On that side.
You're doing it, man.
You know, that doesn't make me a woman. My chromosomes make me a woman.
Yeah.
My life has made me a woman. Proving to you that I ran out and got labia lips is not proving that I was a woman. And the fact that you're making me do that just to change male to female on my birth certificate, which I need that piece of paper to get a loan, to get a passport, to get a car, to get a house, to get a husband. I mean, like, that is just misogynistic bullshit.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm having to take you to court to change it, not only for myself, but for just the provisional aspect of my whole community.
Yeah.
I'll do it for them, but it's so fucking antiquated when you think about it, and you just go, ugh, why are we not moving forward?
It's up to you. It's case law. You're going to be case study law. That's why, because you have to do that. You have to be that Mayfield versus the state of Alabama on that. You have to do that. You are paving that road. You are laying those bricks, that foundation. Because yes, Bradford, who I knew and met and loved and fell in love with, was a gay man. That's who Jonathan knew. That's who we met. We met Bradford, and that we knew. You're from Queens. I'm from Brooklyn. We grew up in the city, subways, around all kinds of different people. I met you, I knew and loved you and embraced you and every which way you were. But you know what? You're not just that average Joe. Because Bradford, the gay guy who grew up in the South, is not an average Joe. You made it, motherfucker. You made it. Bradford made it, bitch. He made it. But, you know, you're so much more. You always knew you were so much more. You wanted to be, but it wasn't like I'm so much more, I'm extra. And it's just, I need to be this diva extra. There was more to it. And, you know, no one was ever going to be able to understand that for you, no matter how open-minded they were or how they grew up. There's still very, very few people that can really understand from your point of view what it is to grow up and think of yourself one way completely. You know, I'm this guy. This is me. This is okay. So yeah, show tunes and I love makeup. And okay, so well, you know, maybe you start in one place and then you go along and then you go along and then you go along and you know, but how many people really land where you do?
It's definitely a journey.
You
it's
have
a journey, and I feel like it's predicated, but
island of your own, and you are a very special person, and you have a very special message to.
Interesting.
I hope you edit. You have a very special message to get out there, and you have to help the youth. That's what you're here for. You have to help these children because they need you. They need you. I have so many questions, and there's so many different ways that you can help so many kids and so many parents. And you can reach people. You have all the personality, and you can reach people, and you can help people to understand and get that knowledge. And that's all it's about.
I appreciate that. And we're definitely going to have you back on in the future. We are coming to the end of our show. We're going to play the outro, and then Maribel and John are going to join me in the green room. And we're going to laugh and giggle. And then
I have to drink out the bottle.
You can drink out of the bottle. I'll give mouth to mouth the bird.
Drinking, yes. Make it whistle, bitch. Make it whistle. I want to hear a whistle.
That comes later. That comes later. So anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. Tune in next week where we'll have another guest. I do have to use this moment, as Maribel talked about the importance of advocacy, and that's what we were talking about later on. January will mark 1 year that I've had this podcast. And
yay.
Thank you so much for everybody that follows us at justjuleigh.com and that supports us and that supports the advocacy and the research, and for everybody that watches on TikTok and reaches out and embraces me and embraces the message and the love and the light that I share. That is something else. And thank you for being with me on this journey and for continuing to be with me on this journey. We will have some great things planned in January on justjuleigh.com. Thank you so much. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at julie@justjuleigh.com. And we are going to make sure that we have Maribel and John back on in the future and follow them as well. Yes. So have a wonderful evening. Everybody be blessed. And it's only 5 days to Christmas. So if you celebrate, I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas.
Yes. And Merry Christmas. Merry, happy.
God bless everybody.
Bye.
For more content, follow justjuleigh.com. That's just Julie, JULEIGH.com. Thank you to our guests, and thank you for joining us this evening. Join us next week as Julie tries a different rosé.